Now, when the Atmakaraka is in the Cancer sign or the Karka Rashi or the Karka sign, as it is mentioned in Vedic astrology. So here, the Atmakaraka's placement in a sign is more about the how part rather than what part. The what part comes from in which house it is. That video we have already done. So here, how to be able to obtain your objective. So when the Atmakaraka is in the Cancer sign, the main characteristic is to be able to achieve your soul's journey, soul's goal through a more emotional approach, a more nurturing approach, more empathetic approach, a more sensitive approach, something which is centered around the family values, and to do something which is very protective for others, or protecting others, or caring others, or more supportive of others. When they feel that I'm protected, this is something that helps society. This is something which helps family. This is something which helps the emotional bonding. This is something which helps the sensitivity in an individual. The work that you do, you'll be able to use that energy of sensitivity and empathy to be able to obtain the soul's objective. Now, what is the main drive for such a person? The main drive is to be getting connected emotionally to the goal. So whatever is the goal, if you truly need to achieve it, you need to be emotionally connected to the goal. If you don't feel strongly emotionally about the goal, then it will be very difficult. And the family bonds or the familial bonds have to be very strong. Which means in trying to do something, you should also look at something which helps the family, which helps the larger unit, which helps society rather than an individual. And that is why Atmakaraka is placed in the Cancer sign. Now, the main challenge area for such a person can be too over emotional, to not be able to control your emotional tendencies, or to be over dependent on others rather than being self-assured in your own empathy. And the fear of being too vulnerable, that I will be vulnerable to others, I'll be vulnerable to people who will want to obtain or or get material success rather than their spiritual success or the caring success or the supportive success. So the fear of vulnerability will also maybe stop you, because the Cancer people don't want to be emotionally vulnerable, because that is their Achilles heels also. And so what are the development areas for you? The main development areas is to balance your emotional needs, or don't depend emotionally too much on others. Be more self-aware what your challenge areas are. What are your fallacies? What are your drawbacks? What are your emotional challenges that you need to overcome? Then the spiritual maturity will also come in. So unless you're mature in your character, in your personality, the spiritual maturity will not come. And where will the spiritual elevation come from? The spiritual elevation will come from being more selfless in what you're trying to get to the goal. So whichever house it is in, the Atmakaraka, whatever you're trying to achieve, it is to be able to do it with selflessness, with a selfless love, if I can use that word, and to be able to overcome the emotional transcendence, or to transcend the emotional boundaries to be able to obtain your objective.